Hi there, good evening. Welcome to the broadcast on this last day of June 2023. As we warm up to prepare the month of July, does it come with a bag of goodies? Well, not so quite. I'll be telling you why in just a few, as the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority has reviewed the fuel prices up. So from the month of July, which is tomorrow, fuel prices will be a pain for you, not just you, but also me. This and much more lined up for you tonight, but here are the day's top stories.
Uliweza kuweka umri wako katika uke wa mtoto wa miaka 16. Kweli siko hivi? Siko hivi.
A suspect accused of defiling a 16-year-old Alliance Girls High School student appears in court, pleads not guilty to the heinous act. Salaries and Remunerations Commission (SRC) proposes to increase state officers' salaries by 14% in a bid to, quote-unquote, cushion them from the high cost of living. Government launches digital services on the eCitizen platform as all services payments to be made under one account. 22 aggrieved judges seek 1.2 billion shillings in compensation from the government for failure by former President Uhuru Kenyatta to appoint them on time. Good to have you with us tonight. Welcome to the broadcast. You're watching EBN Prime Edition. Be part of this bulletin. Watch us on Facebook and on YouTube on EBN TV. Your SMS line is 23993. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Let's get started, shall we? Kenyans will continue to be pinched at the pump after the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority (EPRA) increased the price of super petrol by a whopping 13 shillings, pushing the price of petrol to a new height of 195.53 shillings. The move by EPRA to amend the value-added tax (VAT) requirement on fuel from 8% to 16% is in direct defiance of a High Court ruling that barred the implementation of the Contentious Finance Act 2023. The prices of diesel and kerosene have gone up by 12.3 shillings and 11.96 respectively, pushing the cost of the critical commodity to 179.6 and 173.4 respectively. The increase in fuel prices is expected to have a significant impact on the cost of living in the country, with the rate of inflation expected to go up as a result of this. So that is the reality that is now setting in, and those are the latest reviews. But of course, in due time, because they've just been announced this evening, we shall be having a detailed report on where it retails at what, because the likes of Garissa, Marsabit will be buying petrol at about 200 shillings. And so the VAT added tax of 16% is in place. So you're likely to meet that tomorrow as you head to fuel your car, or worst case scenario, fare prices or bus fare prices will be up. So we'll be keeping tabs with that and update you in our subsequent bulletins. Elsewhere, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission (SRC) is now proposing to increase the salaries of state officers, including the President, the Deputy President, Cabinet Secretaries, and Members of Parliament, by an average of 14%. According to a circular released by SRC on Thursday, the proposed salary increment is expected to be implemented over the next 2 financial years of 2023-2024 and 2024-2025, starting from next month. Victor Enzobeli with a report.
State officers, including the President, the Deputy President, Cabinet Secretaries, and Members of Parliament are set for 14% pay raise on average over the next 2 years, starting next month, in a review proposed by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to cushion them against the rising cost of living. If approved, the officials will enjoy significant relief from the impact of the persistently high inflation which has eroded personal incomes amid rising cost of basic consumer products. In contrast, salaried workers, part-time workers, and workers in the informal sector will continue to find themselves worse off in a biting inflationary environment. President William Ruto's monthly gross remuneration package will rise by 7.1% from July 2023 to 1,546,875 shillings from 1,443,750 shillings currently, before a further 6.7% jump to 1,650,000 shillings from July 2024. On his part, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's monthly compensation will rise to 1,367,438 shillings from 1,227,188 shillings at present from July 1st, before hitting 1,402,500 shillings, representing a cumulative 14.3% jump in his remuneration package over the 2 years. The remuneration of cabinet secretaries goes up by a similar margin, rising to 1,056,000 shillings per month from July 1st, 2024, from 924,000 shillings at present. Members of Parliament, including senators, will meanwhile earn 741,003 shillings and 769,201 shillings in the 2 upcoming financial years respectively, from 710,000 shillings currently, representing a cumulative 8.3% wage increase in the period. The revised remuneration package to members of Parliament and senators nevertheless excludes committee sitting allowances, which are capped at 120,000 per month. In the counties, governors will receive a comparable rise in compensation to the president, meaning they will earn 1,056,000 shillings by July 24 from the current monthly gross pay of 924,000 shillings. Members of the County Assembly will meanwhile earn 164,588 shillings in a little over a year's time from 144,375 shillings at present, as the RSRC recommends a 14% increase in their monthly remuneration. Other state officers set to enjoy a pay raise are Principal Secretaries, the Chief Justice, the Deputy Chief Justice, the Auditor General, the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Inspector General of Police, and the chairpersons of key commissions such as the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. President William Ruto, however, during the launch of the government digital services, said that civil servants will only get salary increment when he directs the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to do so.
For the other people, the state officers, myself, my deputy, ministers, PSS, na wale wadosi wengine wa bunge, na wale wengine, sisi mambo yetu tungoje. Tafadhali.
Victor Enzobeli for EBN TV.
Elsewhere, a group of 22 judges previously unappointed by former President Uhuru Kenyatta are now suing President William Ruto's government for compensation. They claim to have been unfairly kept from work for nearly 2 years without explanation, causing reputational damage. The judges won a court case ordering their appointment within 14 days. They now seek compensation for the difficulties they faced between the period August 14th, 2019 and June 6th, 2021. The 22 from the Employment and Labor Relations Court have filed a lawsuit against Attorney General Justin Muturi, while the remaining 18 are yet to take action. Roifan Shikuku reports.
Requires you to appoint judges recommended to you by the JSC, which you have refused to do.
In their recent court case, the 22 judges argue that the former President Kenyatta's statement that he had received negative reports about some of them tarnished their public image. 3 High Court judges, namely James Makau, Lydia Achode and Chacha Mwita, ruled that President Kenyatta had violated the law and ordered him to appoint the judges within 14 days. They declared that the decision of the Judicial Service Commission could not be subject to review by the President. Judges who have stated how much they want to be compensated are Justice Jacqueline Mogeni, who wants 65 million Kenyan shillings, Justice Christopher Kiania, who wants 50 million Kenyan shillings, Justice David Njagi, who wants 100 million Kenyan shillings, Justice David Mwangi, who wants 50 million Kenyan shillings, Justice Christopher Nuntau, who wants 50 million Kenyan shillings to be compensated for general and aggravated damages. Justice Lucas Naikuni wants 75 million Kenyan shillings as compensation for loss of income, general and aggravated damages. The remaining judges have not quantified what to be compensated, and among them are Justice Edward Wabuoto, Justice Ann Yatich, Justice Michael Mwanyale, Justice Lynette Omolo, Justice Annette Nyukuri, Justice Joseph Ogutu, Justice Bernard Odongo, Justice Stella Ruto, and Justice Jacob Gikeri, while Justice Dr. Fred Nyagaka seeks compensation for damages computed on his salary at entry as a judge minus what he earned as a lecturer while waiting. The judges claim that they were left in a state of uncertainty for approximately 22 months, unable to pursue other professional activities. Justice Joseph Mugo Kamau, for instance, closed down his law firm after being informed of his nomination as a judge. The courts were hesitant to engage with him as they considered him a judge rather than an advocate. Justice Mugo is seeking compensation of 16.5 million Kenyan shillings as compensation for damages for anticipated salary raise, general and exemplary damages. Justice Kebiria, on the other hand, revealed that upon his nomination, his 16-year-old law firm ceased to receive instructions from clients as they were uncertain about his status as a judge or advocate. Though he has not quantified what he wants to be compensated, he has stated that he could renew 50 million Kenyan shillings indemnity.
Under which law does the president have to countermand or send back the names?
In summation, the 22 judges want a compensation of 1.2 billion Kenyan shillings. Therefore, all eyes are set on the High Court to determine the matter. For EBN TV, I'm Roifan Shikuku.
Well, thanks, Roy, for that report. Now, a court in Kikuyu, Kiambu County, has ordered the continued detention of one suspect accused of abusing a 16-year-old girl who is a student at the Alliance National Girls High School until the 13th of July this year, when he will be presented in court to find out if he will be released on bail or not. The decision has been given by Judge Lilian Kwamboka, while explaining that the court will focus on a detailed report from the officers conducting the investigation in order to have a proper chance to evaluate its decision on the 13th of next month. The suspect, named Daniel Vango Kithome, is a security guard in the school and will now remain in the Kikuyu police station, after which he will contest the charges of sexual abuse of a school child.
Uliweza kuweka mume wako katika uke wa mtoto wa miaka 16. Kweli siko hivi?
Siko hivi. Kwa iko na kamera, iko na kutoka hiyo siku mimi siko date 27. Kutoka date 21 nini iko inaendelea?
According to the lawyer of the victim's family, Kimani Wakima, he has told the court that the suspect deserves severe punishment because he went against his duty to protect the students and instead abused one of them.
The person who should have protected the victim but ended up be the same, to be an offender of this. So therefore, I was praying. I know that it's the duty of the prosecution, but I was only persuading the court to consider my submissions.
A statement that the prosecutor did not object to, while they also wanted the management of the Alliance Girls' School to come forward and clearly explain the safety of the students when they return from the midterm break.
The court will call for a preliminary report to determine the case suitability and being granted bail of quantum. Mentioned will be on 13th of July before court number 1. The report be filed on or before the mention.
The suspect is an employee of a security services company known as Ideal Security Services Limited. Yeah, and we can only hope that the wheels of justice will take place in due time. President William Samoei Ruto has signed into law the County Allocation Revenue Bill of 2023 and the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, and the two bills will enable the 47 devolved units to access funds in the new financial year that begins tomorrow. The County Allocation Revenue Act allocates counties 385.4 billion shareable revenues. Nairobi County government will get the highest allocation of 20.07 billion. The Equalization Fund Act appropriates 10.3 billion for basic services such as water, roads, electricity, and health to marginalized areas in the country. Present at the Friday function that was held at State House in Nairobi were Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, Speaker of the Senate Amason Kingi, Attorney General Justin Muturi, and Senate Majority Leader Aaron Cheruiyot, among others.
Article 115 of the Constitution for the presidential assent of two Senate bills, being one is the Equalization Fund Appropriation Fee Bill 2023 and the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2023. Sir, the first bill, the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bill number 3 of 2023, was passed by the Senate on the 15th of June 2023 and subsequently the National Assembly on 21st June 2023. Sir, the second bill, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 16 of 2023, was passed by the Senate on 6th June 2023 and similarly received the seal of approval of the National Assembly on 21st June 2023. Your Excellency, with both houses of Parliament having discharged their lawmaking mandate, Your Excellency, as the head of government and state, is most graciously invited to exercise your presidential prerogative.
Still on the president, now President William Ruto has revealed that the country lost 15 billion shillings as the Uhuru Kenyatta administration pushed to launch its complex Huduma Number project. The president on Friday called the project, quote unquote, a complete hoax as he announced that the government would launch such a project within 90 days. The Huduma Number digital identity was supposed to be a unique and permanent personal identification number assigned to every resident at birth or after and be registered or enrolled and would only expire or retire upon the person's death. President William Ruto spoke at the Kenyatta International Conference Center when launching over 5,000 digital government services on the eCitizen Kenya portal called Gava Mkononi.
And I'm very happy that again we have good news that aside from digitizing government services and everything we are doing, we are also going to make it possible for two things to happen, which are critical towards moving government to the digital platform. Number one is the digital signature. Now it will be possible. I am privileged to be among the first Kenyans to access a digital signature. I was trained yesterday. Sijashika sana lakini niko barabarani. Leo nimefanya testing ya pili, kesho nitakuwa nimeshika laini. So it should be possible for us now to transact on a digital platform, and even as you work to make sure that you access government services, we also want you to sign for those government services on a digital platform. And we will not spend the 15 billion that was spent on Huduma number. And it's not going to take centuries. We are very confident that we have the competence to do this.
President William Ruto has ordered that more than 1,000 pay bill numbers used to collect payments for government services be closed within the next 90 days. Speaking at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, KICC, when he launched the government's new digital services, President William Ruto noted that soon Kenyans will only use one pay bill number launched to pay for government services. According to the head of state, as it stands, the government cannot count some of the pay bill numbers used by various government agencies. He further added that when payments are made through that particular channel, the Treasury will send the money to the relevant ministry. All government money will be paid through same platform directly to the Treasury, and then the Treasury will ensure that the entire ecosystem works. If there are funds going to a certain ministry, the Treasury will ensure that the funds go to the relevant ministry and organizations.
Any other way other than in cash. That was government in 2014. That the only way to pay for a government service is to pay for it in cash. Imagine it was not even possible to pay using M-Pesa. We have since moved, I think, 180 degrees. I can now comfortably say here that in the next 30 days, mark my words, people, these deadlines are important. In the next 30 days, no government service should be paid in cash. Let me repeat it again. For the avoidance of doubt, no government service will be paid for in cash in the next 30 days. And I want to say this because corruption has been our biggest problem, pilferage, theft. Different agencies, different people, everybody seems to have their own pay bill. And all those pay bills are not accountable to anybody. Sometimes there are pay bills that are assumed to be government, but they end up in the wrong place. Again, for the avoidance of doubt, ministries, departments, agencies, in the next 30 days, all other pay bills must be closed. And no government service will be paid for outside 222 that goes straight to Treasury.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Higher Education, Beatrice Nanjala, has announced that the government will soon start paying tuition fees for university students from disadvantaged families. Speaking during the inauguration of Pamela Citiene as the chairperson of Masinde Muliro University Council in Kakamega town, Nanjala stated that this will happen after the president received the report from the task force. On her part, the appointed chairperson of Masinde Muliro University Council, Pamela Citiene, urged the leadership of universities in the country to seek partnerships with international institutions as a way of generating funds for development of local universities.
We are aware that our universities are facing a myriad of conundrums, and some are at the edge of the precipice. It is for this reason that our president, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, set up the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms in September 2022. The task force has now completed its work, and once adopted, the report of the task force will provide a foundation for major reforms in the education sector. Amongst the latest key reforms is the new funding model for university education. Through this model, I want to assure you that the government will sponsor more students through scholarships and help loans, while county governments will also augment the resources through additional scholarships and bursaries. Notably, all vulnerable and extremely needy students, for the first time in the history of Kenya, will be fully supported by the government through scholarships and loans. Their families will not pay anything for their education. The government has therefore enabled universities to mobilize increased resources, not by strengthening their programs, to attract more students, because with students come more resources from the government. Among other things, it is therefore gratifying to note that most has embraced the government's reform strategy, and in part by identifying engineering and health sciences as potential centers of growth.
Over 200 employees of a road construction company on the Joyland Rosterman towards Ilesi participated in a protest to express their dissatisfaction with the decision by the company management to suspend 66 workers under unclear circumstances. Led by Edward Omondi and Asha Musyoka, they staged the protest, blocking the main entrance to the offices of Motor Engil Africa, the company in question. The agitated workers claimed that the company's management had wrongfully terminated the contract of their colleagues without following labor laws, despite their service period not being completed. They allege that the company has been paying them a mere wage in violation of labor laws and called upon the relevant ministry to intervene. However, the efforts to seek redress from the company have been unsuccessful.
Watulipe kulingana na sheria kama vile wao wanafanya hii biashara kulingana na sheria ya Kenya. Pia sisi tunatarajia watulipe pesa yetu tujiende, lakini wao wamekuwa na ujeuri mwingi, hawafuati sheria kulingana na malipo, hata ile rate ya mfanyikazi hawafuatilii, na pia overtime ya watu hawawezi kuwafuatilia kwa njia inayofaa. Kwa hivyo ndio sisi tumesimama hapa kama wafanyikazi tukidai haki yetu iweze kutekelezwa.
Tupewe pesa yetu tuende kwa amani. Hivyo tu, right tu ndio tunataka pesa yetu. Nipewe venye nilisign contract ya 6 months. Nipewe hiyo pesa yangu from hiyo mwezi yangu moja na notice sijapewa. Na wananiambia niende nyumbani. Nitaenda aje? Na leave days zangu zenyewe wamekata. Zangu si za watu wengine zangu. 6 days. Wananipea compulsory leave. Ya nini? Na mimi sitaki leave yoyote, sija apply. Wananiambia tienda nyumbani aje?
Unfair.
Hiyo ni unfair, na they are treating us like slaves. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Unaweza niambia eti na hiyo siku wanatuita hawakutupea hata notice. Wanakuja wanakuambia eti umeandikwa kwa list, kesho usikuje kazi.
Na tuelewane vile inatakikana. Sio wanasema tu imekuwa hivi. Hii tumekataa. Hapa hivi kuna watu wengi wamefanya kazi more than 15 years. Wengine wako na 20 years experience kwa hii kazi ya mjengo. Sasa wanatumia tu vile wanataka juu. Sasa wanasema order inatoka from above. Sasa hii above ndio tunataka tujue. Hii order from above. Hii above ndio yakuje sasa watueleze ni nini inaendelea.
200 Samburu and Marsabit University students whose parents were dependent on livestock lost during the adverse drought that ravaged the country have today received vouchers worth 2,500 Kenyan shillings each from Kenya Drylands Education Fund. Emmanuel Mara with that report.
As thousands of pastoralists continue looking for alternative means of reviving themselves from the effects of drought that saw approximately 4.3 million Kenyans go hungry, the Kenya Drylands Education Fund Director Ahmed Kura has lightened the burden of such pastoralists who support their children through university education. Samburu University Students Association President Komelolo Modon has lauded the move, noting that many from such families were finding it hard to survive through school.
Samburu are going through a hard time because of losing a lot of their livestock to the drought. And it's hard for them to send funds to their sons and daughters here. And as an organization, we were helping communities in Marsabit and Samburu with food relief. We decided to take a portion of that and bring it to our students in Nairobi, Eldoret, Nakuru, and Meru.
His sentiments have been backed by Masile Yagu, who has expressed gratitude as many like them are always left to find alternative means of survival.
Period. We experienced drought. As a normal child, we appreciate that. We want to also say thank you to the founder or the CEO of Kenya Trail and Innovation Fund, Ahmed Kura, for remembering the pastoralist child. It's not even that easy for someone to come.
The move to support university students from Marsabit and Samburu has been received well, with the most now urging other organizations to step in and support them through school.
I'm from Samburu County, and we are really happy because today here we are students from different institutions, and here we are being guided by the Kenya Dryland Education Fund, supporting us with vouchers, that every student or every individual will go up with 2,000 Kenya shillings 500 to buy everything that he or she wants.
With such support, university students from pastoralist communities have now expressed confidence in the future of the academics. Emmanuel Marwa, reporting for EBN TV.
Well, folks, that is where we wrap it up tonight. Thank you for your valuable company. I really hope that you're up to date with what is making headlines across the country. Now, it's a wrap for the month of June. I'd just love to wish you a happy new month in advance. Keep it real, keep it soft. Do not stress about the small things. Just put your priorities right and you'll do just fine. I'm Cynthia Nanjala. Do enjoy the rest of your programming. Have a lovely night.